All right. Let's get it going. Hello, greetings, salutations, all the other greetings. How is everybody? I am cold. Today is damn cold. However, I have since we've cleared off enough of my work desk that I've been able to put the kit up top here, so we can actually admire how much we've got built and the little high grade next to it. So I think it's a nice backdrop. It'll be eventually up there probably, but for now we can admire it. In the couple days that I have not been on, I built up these parts. These are the boosters that kind of go under the skirt that act as, they look like legs. I had kind of made up my mind that I didn't want to go with the boosters. I wanted to go with it in like the lower position, and building these up confirmed that. These are horrible. They are high grade parts, true and true. This is a left half and a right half, and you clamp it together, and there's like 8 or 9 really big pins, like 4 on each side, and I think 1 at the end, and you have to squeeze them all into each other, and they do not go in very well. As hard as you squeeze, the plastic starts to break before the pegs actually go in. I had to glue the seam along both sides. I had to like hold it closed and squeeze it and take some of the extra thin cement, put it down on the whole thing. Both sides, they've stayed closed, but I don't know. I'm less than impressed with them. They're very bottom heavy. I think like the halfway mark for the weight is like right here, and like yeah, they're very bottom. So they fall out. I did a test run where I plugged them in, and they just kept falling out. I don't think they're supposed to really sit in there. I think they're supposed to plug in, and then when you put it on the thing, I think just the weight of it is supposed to kind of, like it's supposed to rest on the table. It doesn't, they don't go in. I'm going to keep them just in case I'm going to do a full photo set of everything. But I think once it goes up on the shelf, we're not going to use these. The main reason why is because it raises the height of everything by this much. And as you can see, it's already off the top of my camera if we come up by that much. This whole thing will not be in view. I didn't see the point of building the biggest kit out there to then kind of push it off the top of the camera because it's on gigantic stilts. So there will be pictures of all this, but for now, what we see is what we're going to end up as a final product. So I'm going to go move these so I don't actually accidentally step on them. And I say that because I did step on them by accident earlier. I put them down here where I thought they were out of the way until I swung my chair around and totally kicked them. So that was no good. So let's go over to the build screen. All right. So going through this whole manual, this is where we got to last time. We finished up the side skirts, all the boosters underneath. Then I popped on these big flowery looking brackets. These are the boosters that I built myself. They plug into this, but we're not going to go with them. This I already did off camera, because this I did before we even started. This is just the action base that it's sitting on now. This is that long acrylic pole that we have to put it on if we are going to be using the boosters, because you can see they plug right in here, but they don't plug in very well. You can actually, I didn't see this before, but this says forcing these parts may cause the receiving part to break. So they tell you don't even push them that hard because they don't really go in there that well. I think they're just supposed to sit in there, and then when you set it down, they slide out and touch the table, and being locked in at the top and then touching the table like so. Like, yeah, okay. All right, it even says display the kit so 3 pieces touch the ground. Please store us in a balanced environment. Like, yeah, it's definitely like a tripod thing going on here. got those little side skirts. This we did earlier. I just wanted to build him up just to get him out of the way. So the little Sinanju's all done. We did all this. That's putting him inside of this. We'll do that later just because I want to put the water slides on this before I really start getting into it. So next we have 6 times. Can you believe that? We're going to be doing this next step 6 times. But this builds all 6 arms. Yeah, so everything gets up to this part is a 6 times. Then we start doing the shoulder joints because these are the 2 arms that actually go here and here as forward arms. And then the remaining 4 arms get attached onto the backpack, which is kind of wild. And you can take the fingertips off and kind of store them here if you want, or you can put them all on or do whatever. I think I'm going to have them in that weird like 6-armed yoga pose because I thought it looks pretty cool. But yeah, this is what we have left, and we have to do it 6 times each. So I guess without further ado, let's get to getting, because we got a lot of work ahead of us still. Most of the parts are now on the floor, but we're going to need an S1 and an S2. What is this? S1, S2. Are they both 1? 1, 2. Okay, nope. So we're going to need a 1 and a 2. Come on, damn it. There we go. 2. Now, are they the same the other way around? 1 and a 2, yes. I saw some YouTube video where the guy said you're always supposed to come from behind the part with your nipper and cut. And I'm like, well, why? Like, if I could, like, I don't understand. Maybe the only thing I can think is like this way I can clearly see the part. Like if I was coming down, maybe my hand, like this one, my hand could be in the way and I couldn't see what I was cutting. But like it said, always come from the underside of the part like this. And I'm like, that seems like a weird rule. It feels like you can do it however you want. It is helpful. I mean, depending on the part you're cutting out, but I can't imagine that it's a like a full-time hindrance. Like with here, it's just easy because of how I'm holding the runner. But here it's just as easy to come from the top. Get that one. And wouldn't you know it, I used the wrong sprue. Oh wait, no, we got to do them all. 1, 2, 3. Okay, we got to do them all. I wasn't sure here. And so there's 6 of those. And 6 of those. We've got another empty runner. Into the pile. So why did my camera earlier show me that I was out to there, but now... Oh, is this thing... Did this move? It looks like it moved. It did move. Why did that move? It like grew in size. There we go. I was gonna say it showed much more before. There we go. There we go. Now we can see the full desk. So I was gonna say before I could see almost everything to both sides. All right, now we need Y2. What is a Y2? Y2, we've got that one, and that one. This is ABS plastic. This is the gigantic polycap substitute. Yo. That broke pretty clean. Must be something with that part because on all three runners, that part has only had one attachment left. All right, so we're gonna need Y3 and 4. While we have them here, let's three. So earlier on, I was like, I don't know what we'll be doing tomorrow because if we knock this out today, it'll be done. But looking at how many parts we have to cut out, 6 times, maybe I won't get this done all day today. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to think that I will get it done today. Like maybe we can run a little bit late because I do not work tomorrow. So if we're late, we're late, but at the same time, if we finish it tomorrow, we finish it tomorrow. Then the question becomes, if we finish it today, what do we do? Do we start on a new model kit? Do we play some games? What do we do? It's not much of a problem. Having to force yourself to decide between gaming and model building. The 4s are done. And the 3s are done. All right, holy cow. So that's a lot of plastic. And it's going to go up so quickly, I'm going to be like, oh, we're done. So, I don't know. Let's build up what we have before we start adding more to the pile. Got to use the good nippers. I don't know how much of this is visible. But for practice, we'll use the good nippers. Damn it. Where'd that go? There it is. No, that ain't it. Where'd it go? Whatever. We'll find it. Yo. 2. We're going to be counting to 6 a lot. I have a feeling. 3. Oh, there's the part. Gotta move this mic up. It is like right. It's blocking my screen. There we go. Four. 5. 6. So the cap joints are all done. It's bugging me that I've clipped off some parts and they went flying, but I don't know where. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. The Sesame Street number of the day is 6. All right, 6 of those. One. 2. 3. I got about 3 more weeks of work, and then I get about a week and a half off for Christmas, which I'm looking forward to. I'm planning on for that, trying to get a collage, or at least some pictures of every kit that I've done this year. I'm going to put that on Twitter 5. Just to have like an entire year's worth of like, hey, this is everything we accomplished in 2023, all in one big mural. I don't know how many kits I actually put together. I feel like it's got to be more than 20, but I don't know how many. Some of them I started and threw away. I definitely threw away the real grade Zeta Gundam. That was actually my second time. I bought it when I was still pretty novice in the hobby, and I had a hell of a time with it, and I hated the kit. And so many people out there, it's a known hand grenade of a kit. A lot of people are very well versed with all the problems with that kit. And I think the problem, I don't know, problem's not the right word. I think people like the kit because they like Zeta Gundam, not because they like the kit. Like, it's a bad kit. There's no two ways about it. It's not a good kit. But people will be like, no, you can actually do, it's actually really good if you take your time, if you try and do this and that, and it can come out really well. And I'm like, yeah, I think you just are lying to me, because I put some bad kits together, and that one topped the charts for me. It was like the worst kit I had ever worked on. And following me putting it together and complaining about it, and seeing everybody, not everybody, but a lot of Zeta defenders be like, it's not a bad kit, you need to take your time, you need to do this, you need to do that, it's actually the best kit I own, and the criticism of it is overrated. I started to think, maybe that's true. I wondered, maybe, is it because I built that kit when I was like pretty new to the hobby? I didn't have nearly the amount of tools or the amount of techniques and the amount of skill that I have now, or just the amount of experience to like know what the build is trying to do, so how I can like maybe build it in a different order. Just it seemed like maybe I was being too hard on the kit, and maybe it wasn't as bad as I was remembering. So I ended up picking up a second real grade Zeta Gundam. It was like an alternate color, so that's 6. It was like light blue. It had a lot of it was dark blue and light blue. I don't know what it was called. Like, it was a color variant. And I found out the color variant were all color correcting decals, which was kind of horrible. It's all like light blue stickers that you put over dark blue parts, and I went, oh no. But I said, well, they seem like they'll go on easy. They're not the foil stickers, they're at least like decal type stickers, so they stick better, they go on, they're easier to like apply. So I thought, I'm gonna give it a shot. I am going to use about 4.5 years of experience that I gained since I tried to build that first kit, and I'm gonna build it again, and I'm gonna build it properly. I'm gonna build it correctly. And I did not even get through the completed build with it before I threw the whole thing away, mostly out of frustration. I just was like, this kit is as bad as I remember. I don't like it. And now I'm covering the entire kit that I don't like with color correcting stickers that don't stick down. They were very, the stickers don't stick. They were like the decal type, but were kind of like, I don't know, waxy almost. I put them on, and then they would kind of just self peel off. I think it was because every single one of them, none of them laid flat. None of them just went like on a flat surface. They all like would curve around the edge, and you had to fold it and crease it and get it to bend. And like if I had one and I put it on this top edge, it would cover the top edge and then fold over and go down this side here. And I'd put it on and I'd smooth it out as hard as I could, and I'd push and I'd push and I'd push, and then I'd look after like 30 seconds and the folded over side had like peeled up. Like instead of being down, it was pushed down. And I'm like, what the hell? So I took them off, put them back on, took them off, put them back on, trying to get them to lay down. I used a little bit of glue. The sticker started to like dissolve from the glue. I'm like, this thing sucks. It's a kit that I knew sucked, and now it's got color correcting stickers that suck because they don't even stick down. And I threw the whole thing out. I was like, I don't even want to try and salvage this kit. I don't like it. I don't want it. I offered it up to the garbage gods, and she gone. And I have no regrets. I don't care. I don't like that kit. If you like that kit, good for you. You're allowed to. But I don't. I don't like it. All right. So, oh, there's one. So it's a good thing I moved this because I almost pushed these two together and I didn't realize, oops, I got to put these polycaps in here. So they go cap side up. So this is interesting. From the top, there's like, let me do this. So we've got a dark background that I can actually like, you can see the pointer again. So there's like two cups here and two on the other side. So the cups kind of, they catch these square parts here. So I put them in just like this. I line up this groove and then I push and they kind of like grab the sidewall cup. Those are two of the same part. There we go. That's why they weren't going together. All right, that closed up rather nice. I don't know how much of this is visible when we're done, so I don't know what we need to panel line. This maybe? We'll test that out later. It is dark gray, so we'd have to hit it with a black panel line, if anything. Two. That ain't it. That ain't it. There we go. Gonna move this because I almost hit it. Three. Four. Five. Six. What is that? Nothing, I guess. See, when I first started building, I would like do one, cut out the parts, build one, build two, build three. Trying to save my sanity is what taught me to build like six at a time. Because if I cut one of these out and then cut another one out and then cut another one out, I would probably have like lost my patience and been like, I don't want to do these anymore. All right. So now we take this. So this is kind of the shoulder socket. The shoulder that's on the kit, these get pushed onto the peg. So this is the upper arm, this is the elbow joint. This right here is the part for the elbow joint. So this is the smaller of the two, so we'll need to start with this side. This one pushes in a little tight, but that's okay, it's supposed to be. There we go. So there's the elbow joint. Very, very rigid. But you probably need to be for the weight and size of this. So we pop in one side. We pop in the other. Make sure it's flexed. All right, there's two. I've done this once where like I didn't make sure the joint worked, and I think I broke something because like I thought I had it all together properly and I did not. Like something was pinching something else and it wasn't done right. And a simple flex test could have told me like before I built up a lot more than I did. Hey dum-dum, you didn't do it right. Two, four. Come on. Why aren't you lining up right? There we go. 5. And whew. All right, so we have 6 upper arms complete. These are pretty wild. Oh, the mouse cursor. I was like, there's something white right there. Yeah, the mouse cursor. Idiot. These ain't right. That one's not right. And that one's not right. All right, what are we up to next? Next we need, it looks like a bracket that kind of locks, I don't know what it is. So it's like a front and a half back clasp. And then let's do that real quick because then we start building the armor on everything. And I'd rather just do these little clasps. So WA 1, 3, and 2, 3. Which is great because these are the last 6 parts of these runners. And when we clean these up, these are 2 more into the junk pile. So 1 goes in the front, 3 goes in the rear. Junk. junk. All right. Now these are a little more visible, but I don't think any of the nubs are in a location. Yeah, they're kind of the side with two are going to be completely hidden, so we don't have to like super clean these up. But this is that shitty gray plastic that really stresses out. So I'm going to take slow, deliberate cuts on these top ones here. Not great, but not the worst. Bottom two I don't care about. The reason I say I don't care about is because they're going to be like up against another piece of plastic, so they will not be visible. These might not be visible, but I don't want to risk it. That just broke right off. Three. All right. The front three are done. Six. Not three. I was counting them off in pairs of threes. That is three. Ooh. I had quite the parade of shitty graphic artist fake bots messaging me today. They must have been bored. They were swarming me earlier when I made my I'm going on live or online live whatever post, and I got like 8 different retweets and follows and all kinds of crap, and I'm like, none of these are real people. None of you. You're all fake individuals. All right. So these. What do we lock on here? They go right on this groove. So it's easier if we start with the back first. Oh, we won't see the top or bottom. How about that? nice. Oh, we kind of, no, we don't even see, oh, we do see the bottom. That's annoying. Not much, though. Whatever. We'll be alright. Did I put that on upside down? No, I didn't. Alright. Alright, there's one. These are kind of painful. Like, they ride on rails, and if you don't get both of them at the exact same time, they bind, which is a little tricky. A little tricky. So there's these the grooves there and there, or I guess rails, and then there's grooves in here. So the back one goes on fine, because you just line up the grooves on both sides and push until it stops. So now you know it's centered. Now the front, where it has these pins that need to line up in these holes, you can kind of get them started. The rails it rides fine on, but you have to make sure the holes are lined up too. Because see, that one went right in, this one's binding. And I have to like push down and squeeze. There we go. 3. A lot of these big parts where like you need lots of pressure to close them up really make your hands and wrists hurt, because like you'll be squeezing hard and you'll be like using these muscles that you don't really use that much, I guess, or put that much force on a regular basis, because sometimes I'll be like squeezing a lot of stuff and getting these parts down, and then like the next 2 or 3 days I'm like, my wrists, what happened? And then I remember, oh yeah, stubborn Gundam model kids. Those are lined up. There we go. There we go. 6. Now, this next part is a lot of plastic. A lot. I've seen these parts. They've fallen off my table many times. That's why I have put them on the floor. But where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Let's go grab them. Oh wow, these are large. This is the structure that kind of like, I guess this part goes right in here. So wow, a lot of this is just structure that's hidden under there for the sake of being hidden. And we have to cut all this out now. Oh boy. Alright, so for now, we're going to go with just O2. O2 and 2. I usually do all the 6 at one, or do all the steps at once, but we are not going to have enough room on the table because these parts are getting really, really big. All right. Oh, there's another one. 2. That is some shrieking sounds, like screeching plastic. Well, the good thing will be I won't have to check the parts when I know to cut the other side out, because we got them all here. Ooh, God. I don't know if the microphone is picking up that horrible shrill sound. But I don't like it. Alright, so 3, 6. Now we need R4. Where's R? Right here. 4 is the bottom side. Good thing is we've got rid of so much plastic already that even if I don't need to read this, or I can't read the root sprues, looking at the shape of the part, I'm like, oh, I know where that one is. I can see that shape, like that eye patch looking part. So I don't need to be like, oh, is that 4? Or not, is that R? Alright, 4, 6 of those. Now we need WD12. That is these parts here. I hope, God. Okay, they're all 2s. They're all 2s. That's awesome. Okay, so it's not like half of this one and half of this one. They're all interchangeable. So I can take every one from this off and toss this whole runner. Also nuts to me that this many steps is half of the forearm. Alright, let me throw this out. Next step is, God damn it, it's the other thing. So, alright, well, we don't have room on the desk for all this for now. So let's get this cleaned up. And underway, and then we'll get everything that we just did one more time, because oh, there's a lot of panel lining here. That's good though, but that's gonna kill some time. Maybe we won't get this all done today. Ooh, wrong ones. So I can't tell if these vents are going to be visible or not. I think the ones on the front 2 arms are going to be. So usually I'd want to like get some panel line on there, but if 4 of the arms are not visible because they're going to be round back, maybe I don't want to waste an hour cleaning up all 12 of these. It's kind of like the scale modeling people that will spend all sorts of time like painting and cleaning up a cockpit and putting in all these aftermarket photo etched parts and resin cockpit, and I'm like, that looks awesome while you're taking pictures of it, and it's super cool that you're doing that, but then once you close that thing up, nobody's gonna see it. Or like the people that'll do a tank interior, and I'm like, yeah, you spent 45 hours making that interior look awesome, but now you're gonna close it up and nobody's gonna see it. All right. I do understand the purpose of that for like the photography journey, though. You know, you want pictures of everything. So I get it, but if it's just panel lining, it is what it is, I guess. Come on. What do we got? Hey, what is that? Go. Pop-ups. Go away. This reminds me of like an old kid's toy. Like, I think I said the other day, like, kind of like G.I. Joe, how it's just big, hollow, bulky plastic. I remember the G.I. Joe toys from the 80s and probably late 80s or early 90s were like, you had to build yourself. Like, they were all cleaned up. It wasn't like a model where you had to cut the parts off a sprue, but it was like a bag of parts. You had to build most of the toys. And a lot of them were just big hollow pieces of plastic like this. I do remember elementary school, I got I believe it was called the Cobra Raven, and it was like kind of modeled a little bit after like the SR-71. Oh, Johnny, thank you for the follow. I barely heard that. I gotta turn my sound up, I guess. Yeah, that was low. There we go. There we go. Thank you for the follow. Are you a Gundam fan or a modeling fan or just stopping by? Blue Destiny Unit 3. Nice. I know those units, but I never really know which one is which. I mostly remember from like video games and stuff, and I know some of the Blue Destiny units are more like white than they are blue, aren't they? They're like all white with like blue shoulder pads or something. I don't remember. I think there's 3 units. I remember Unit 1, 2, and 3. I remember looking at one of them and I'm like, well, it's not really blue. There's a lot of side stories that, like, I've learned about from video games that seem really cool. And, there's not a lot of media out there that I can consume them from. There's a lot of the, what is it? SD Gundam G Generations. 3 was white with the tiny. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what I remember then. I remember a lot of them. Okay, that would make sense then, because I remember the gun. The gun was like the same type of like folded stock machine gun looking thing that the EZ-8 had. I don't know if it was in the EZ-8 or the Gundam Ground type. I know EZ-8 had some different weapons, but that's all making sense. A lot of those like spin-off universes and side stories and stuff, like I was saying, I know more about from video games than anything else, so it's kind of neat to learn the story of some of them. I played some of the mobile games, that Gundam Breaker Mobile that closed up, and they had a lot of kits in there that you could get as like event kits, but then I didn't know anything about them. And then SD Gundam G Generation came out, and it had so many of the side stories, and you get to learn like the characters and the special abilities and the like the storylines, and I was like, this is pretty cool. I was not really a fan of like the Pixie. I didn't think the Pixie was very cool until I played that story, and I was like, all right, never mind, I like this. Like, the Pixie's pretty cool. I don't remember the side story, but there was like a whole squad of those kind of like, not misfit guys, but whatever. There was a Fred Ribber had a Pixie, and I remember that model kit. That was cool because he's got like beam daggers and like Uzi machine guns. I built that one just because I thought it was cool that there was like beam daggers, and they had like an effects kit that made it look like he was slashing his dagger through the air. That was a really cool kit. Alright, we are going to have to do a lot of cleanup on those because holy cow. They don't cut very well because I can't get the nippers in there, and there's a lot of panel lining. Dang. How much of this could be? No, we're just gonna start sanding. Yeah, some of those kits were pretty cool. That's what got me liking the P Bandai stuff, because you can't like find those kits anywhere else. It's kind of disappointing that they'll do like a one run, and then if you don't get it, you don't get it, and then you can find it on eBay for like $100, even though P Bandai sells it for like $24. I was fortunate to be working all through the whole pandemic and everything, so I was buying pretty much anything as it came up for pre-order, because the supply issue was like such a problem, where like if you didn't buy it when it would be like go on P Bandai, you had no chance of getting it. Like every supply store would be out, and it's just like, nope, you had your chance unless you pre-order it. Even from like a regular retailer, you had a small window because like only a few of them were coming over, and the shipment was months out. And if you didn't buy it like right away, you weren't going to get it. So I started buying almost everything that I wanted, and I knew I didn't have time for it, but I was like, well, I don't have the time to build it, but it's available now. So I'm just going to buy it when I can, and then figure out when, because now I don't have to hunt for it. It's just all in my backlog. Good God, there's going to be so much panel lining here. All right. Yeah, I get shocked at how much stuff gets marked up on the secondary market. I got this kit P Bandai right from them. It was $310 for a high grade, which is kind of nuts, but the kit itself is nuts. But if you look online, this kit is going from like $550 to $750, and I'm like, God damn it! Like, I'm glad I got it when I did, but the people that buy them just to mark them up and resell them suck. Like, there's an effects part for this where it's like a halo that comes up. It's probably about a 2.5 foot diameter halo, and it's like a $20 kit on P Bandai because it's literally just some. It almost looks like railroad track little parts. They're semicircles. They just connect in like a big loop. It's like $20, but I can't find it for less than like $90, even like on eBay and stuff. I'm like, I'm not paying $90 for it. That's $70 more than I know it costs when it goes up on P Bandai. So I'll just wait for the next run and buy it for $20 and well, when it comes in, it comes in. Oh wow, what is that? Is that a high grade, or is that like a? Because I know there's a narrative, Sinanju Stein, Verka, but I don't know. I built the high grade. That's just the Stein, though. Oh, you can't see my hand's in the way. The Sinanju Stein high grade. Okay, yeah, those usually go for like $20 to $30. That's probably not a bad price, but everybody thinks that they can get them for like $50. Like I built the Gundam Rose high grade, like $19. So I was like, yeah, I'll pick that up. And then the first wave sold out, and I was kind of bummed. And yeah, up on eBay for like $70. I'm like, I'm not paying $70 for a high grade. Get out of here. I'd pay $70 for a master grade, like Verka, but not a high grade. Psycho Gundam. There's a high grade Psycho Gundam for sale at a mom and pop shop near me, and I always look at it. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll pick that up, but I never do. The scale with that always confused me because, like, I remember watching Zeta Gundam and it seemed huge. I remember, like, the Zeta Gundam was, like, climbing up its back and, like, hugging its head, and it seemed so small. And then I look at it and I'm just like, that's not that. Like, the kit doesn't look as big as it should be. Like, I would think the kit would be almost this size for the based on the way it was displayed in the anime, but I don't know. What do I know? Oh wow. Yeah, okay. That would make sense then. So maybe it's not true 144. If they just were like, yeah, let's make it master grade scale size. I mean, it's big. The box is definitely got a lot in it, but so does this because it had so much that there were 2 boxes. Oh, it's that old? That would make sense then. All right, can I get all? Yeah, I can probably get all this together, and then panel line it afterwards because there's just too much crap on my desk right now. So we'll pop these in. You know, there were screws for this one, and at first I was like, there's screws for this kit? And I realized, no, there's screws for the action base, because the action base, this is so heavy, you need to put screws in the action base to, like, make it able to support itself. I couldn't believe it that a couple of years ago, I was out of the blue, I was like, I want that high-grade Dendrobium kit, like... And they hadn't done a production of that kit in a long time. And the only place I could find it was like eBay, and it was going for like $750, and they were in Japan, and then I'd have to ship it over, and I'm like, oh man. And I think I went to the Reddit, and I was like, anybody know if there's a dendrobiums for sale? Like even a mom and pop shop, maybe I can talk with them and buy it and all this other stuff. And this one guy messaged me, and he's like, there's a high grade dendrobium in the box for retail price of $300 at like a used, like a retro game store near my house. But they're like a mom and pop shop. They don't have a storefront. They will not ship it. It's like you got to walk in only. And I'm like, oh. So I'm like, well, that sucks. Like, and I asked him like, well, where are you located? Just thinking like maybe I can go on Facebook and message people or ask somebody or something. And he tells me, he's like, oh, I'm in so-and-so, he tells me where he is. And of all places he could be, he's in the same state that I am, and the store is a 40-minute car ride from me. I'm just like, are you for real? So I'm thinking like I may have to order this on eBay or like import it from Japan or something, and there's a retail price kit less than an hour from me. So I called him up and I was just like, hey, do you guys still have this Gundam kit? Because they're like a video game store. Like, they get calls for like, I mean retro games, but they get calls about like, hey, do you have any copies of Battletoads? Or do you have any Link to the Past? So I called them and I was just like, do you guys have the high-grade Dendrobium kit in? And the guy on the phone is like, I don't know. I mean, what we got is what we got, man. And I was like, well, I'll put it this way. It's a huge box, and it's probably like $300 up on the... And he's like, oh, that thing? Yeah, we've got that thing. Hang on, let me go see what it's called. And I'm like, that's what it is. Like, he just knew it was a massive box. So, he's like, yeah, we still have that. So I'm like, all right, I'll be there to pick it up in like an hour. And he goes, okay, no problem. And I checked his Facebook, the storefront where I got the phone number, said they were open till like 9 p.m. So I drive there, I get all the way there, and it was like 6:55, and I walk in, and he's like, hey, we close at 7. So, and I'm like, well, I'm the guy that wants that gigantic model kit. And he was just like, oh, yeah, here you go. So I ended up taking it home for $300, which is wild, because I was like mentally preparing myself to spend like $700 on it. So that was a cool happy ending story, I guess. Oh my god, this is going to be a lot of panel lining. Let's see. So there's 3 right there. There's a ton around the wrist. And there's 2 little squares, and then there's a line, and then like I could probably go down here. Oh, this is gonna be... I'll do 1. We'll see how long it takes. The smoother I do one, the less time it'll take us. Because of all the cleanup. All right. So yeah, I have the Dendrobium. I didn't work on it yet because that kit is a much older kit. It has lots of screws in it, and quality of the plastic is not that good. To this, like, you can see like the marbling of the plastic, I guess, like, because I don't know, it didn't blend very well. But it's not just my kit, that's like all of them that kind of look like that. And what was also disappointing was like the big missile doors on the unit itself have like structural, they have like webs behind them. So if you look at it, like you can see the web molded through the plastic where it's thicker. And like looking at the kit, it looks like it's plastic. And I'm like, that's disappointing. Like it's gonna need paint to kind of like make the kit look nice. And I don't mind that. It's just that like I don't have the supplies to paint and the place to paint because I'm like in a condo and I'm in a spare bedroom. Like I'm not going to be painting inside. So I'm like, I want to do that kit justice and I don't think I can do that right now. So I hold off on it. All right, now this wasn't that bad. I'm just doing simple lining just where there's grooves in the plastic or edges, so it's not that bad. Do you? Which ones? I have so many kits that for one reason or another I just like don't want to work on yet. Oh, nice. Like I want to paint stuff the color it's supposed to be, and if it's not the color it's supposed to be, I'm like, I want to like airbrush all this, and I don't have a place where I can airbrush, so I just kind of keep it in my backlog, and I'm like, one day. All right, well, this was not as bad of a panel lining job as I thought. This one's kind of tough to clean it out, but I don't really want to go over all that. I think that's kind of enough definition. Well, I don't know. It does look better. Oh, yep. Yeah. I was super bummed. I bought some kits that like I didn't know it was pearlescent plastic. I bought a 2-pack. It was the Turn A and the Turn X Gundam, and it came with like the exclusive like nanomachine stickers to make it look like the whole thing is covered with like little nanoparticles repairing it, and it looks so cool. And I didn't know that both of those kits were pearlescent plastic, which means like it's all gross marbling, and panel lining markers don't rub off on them. It's almost like trying to write on glass. Like it's just smooth, and you can go over it with a marker 100 times and the ink just won't stick to the plastic. And I was like, this sucks. It's just disappointing. And like you can't sand it because it's almost like treated top coat, and if you sand it down it's just going to look really bad because you're going to scuff it up, and everything next to it will be nice and smooth and shiny, and like where you tried to sand off a nub, it's just like flat, dull, messy nonsense. So I'm like, it was disappointing. Later I ended up getting the regular Turn A master grade, and it was awesome. Like that's just like such a cool kit. I love it. I built it twice. One's up there, the other one's in a storage. And I was like, man, I should have used like the water slide decals, like the little nanoparticle decals on this, because I could clean it up so well. And the Turn A, it has so many like straight lines and like awesome panel line possibilities, just because like there's so many clean straight lines on it because of how it was designed by Sid Mead. And just looking at it, I'm like, gosh, I should have saved those stickers for this, or the water slides, I guess. But oh well. We all kind of make goofs. That's how we get better the next time, right? We screw up. Maybe not screw up, but we do something that we look at and go, oh, maybe I should have done it this way. And then you kind of learn what not to do the next time. Which is why I've built so many kits multiple times. I think the kit that I've built the most is, not surprisingly, my favorite Gundam of all time. One of my least favorite kits of all time, because it's not the easiest kit to put together, but it is the Victory 2 Master Grade Verka. I have built it 3 times so far, and I still have 2 more of them in my backlog. So ultimately, I will have built it 5 times. I don't know why, but I will have. Oh yeah, I never built that one. The high grade? I think, or is that the RE100? I think that one was RE100, right? Given a preference, I like 100, 1 to 100 scale, but okay, yeah, that one's. But I build what I can get. This thing in 100 scale would just be insane, so I get why it's not. But yeah, like I'm remembering the box for that. I can totally picture the box, but I'm like, I don't remember if that had like an RE100 really. I think it might have, but maybe that's not the one that you built. But the Master Grade Verka Victory 2 is problematic. I mean, you're probably familiar with the kits. You understand Verka kits. Verka kits are always like kind of fancy. They always do something that like a regular master grade wouldn't do. It's like he's always trying to push the envelope and make them like super realistic, and if it could transform, it can transform. And ultimately, the problem with the Victory 2 is the fact that it has a full core fighter, but the design of it's not like the Grandpa Gundam where like the core fighter folds up and it just goes right up inside. The core fighter like kind of comes apart, and then the arms strap onto it, and then it closes back up, and the legs close up, and it. So it's like you have to like take the core fighter apart a little bit and fold it all up and interlock. Like it's very weird. And I was not like skilled enough at the time to like understand what was going on, and I was kind of like heavy-handed with some stuff, and it didn't come out the way I liked it. So it was difficult. I have one over there. I'll grab it afterwards. It was difficult because they tried to do too much with it. And that's the point of a Verka, you know, it's supposed to do everything. But like it's on this super, it's like on a knife's edge of like, yeah, it looks cool, but don't touch it because it's a hand grenade. I don't know if you've ever built a real grade Zeta Gundam. It's very similar to that in the sense of like the whole chest could collapse at any moment. And what I really didn't like, and it's me being particular, but you know, there are models, you know, we kind of like our own, we like what we like, right? So what I didn't like was the core fighter has a gap if you don't do everything perfectly, if you don't do it like slow and perfect, the parts kind of get loose. And the gap is right in the chest. It's like right here. So there's like the nose of the core fighter is like this, and you fold one under, and this point of my fingertips is kind of like the point in the chest, and you want that gap to be nice and tight because it's what people see when you look at it. But like, it opens up and there's like a gap in it, and it's just like a black gap front and center of the chest, and I'm just like, how do I close that gap up? And you can't. Like, it's just like gravity kind of like opens it up. And I look online and I'm like, well, on the box, everywhere else it looks like it doesn't look like that. And then I look at, go to Google and you look at people building the kit, and every one of them has the gap. And I'm like, oh, so it's not just me. It's like, it's just the way they look because of how the kit works. Let's see. Let's see. It's a different kit. It's not hard. You just got to build it carefully. And the first time I did it, I didn't build it carefully. All right, here we go. Here we go. So what I ended up doing is let's see. If I move this here, if I blow this up, let me see here. Second screen. I'm running a risk of messing some stuff up here, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Second monitor. Oh gosh, that ain't it. There we go. So that's a picture of just the Victory 2. This isn't mine. This is just somebody else's. But this gap, this gap right here between this yellow V part and then this blue part, I hated the fact that this gap opened up right there. And you can like pinch it closed, but then the second you let go, it reopens. And I'm just like, what the heck? And like, you could glue it, but if you glue it, you can never like take the core fighter out because you pinched it closed. And a lot of people didn't care. Like, if you look at it online, there's hundreds of people who have built it with that gap. But it's just mine. I look at it and I'm like, I hate that. Like, what do I do? So what you have to do is, as you're building up the core fighter, most of the core fighter is made of just ABS plastic. So what I had to do was put Tamiya extra thin cement glue on a lot of the joints of the core fighter because it makes them microscopically bigger. And then when it, like, I didn't glue the joint, I put it on the part and then let it dry, because that stuff, when it dries, it kind of like has a texture to it. So rather than just being like smooth plastic that gravity can like twist and open up, that's a little bit grippier, and it adds like microns onto the plastic. It makes it a tiny bit thicker, so the joints get tighter and they're like a grippier surface. And it makes it so that like when you put something closed, it'll stay closed. So I'm going to be a little hesitant here, but here's my Victory 2, and it does not have the gap. That yellow and blue, they came together. They are nice and sealed, nice and tight. And I think The second time I did it, it was a much better time. And this is my favorite kit and my favorite suit of all time. I love this suit. I love Victory Gundam. It is the best. So, first time I built it, didn't come out good at all. I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't like this kit. It's such a clean look. And I love how, like, the V in the chest goes into, like, the boosters, and it makes, like, one big extended V. I just thought it was cool right from the start. I looked at that and I was like, whoa. So I built it the first time, didn't like it. Built it. I bought the Assault Buster, which is like a not a P Bandai. It's a P Bandai, I think, because it's like a Gundam based limited. You can only get it through P Bandai, and it's a Victory with all kinds of like up armor. It's almost like the full armor Gundam, but the Victory 2 version. And it didn't. I didn't water slide it because the kit. It's a hand grenade kit inside, and the armor hangs on by gravity. Like there'll be parts of the knees that stick out, and you just take the armor and you hang it over it. So like if you just shake the kit, the armor falls right off. It doesn't it's not a peg in a hole that stays there. It's just like hanging on by gravity. And as I was putting it together, like you'd nudge it, and then the thing would just like the armor would all fall off. And I'm like, oh my gosh! And it can't stand up under its own weight. It has to be on an action base because it's so heavy. And I didn't water slide it, which I wanted to. And I was kind of like, all right, well, I built it, and that's when I started tightening up the joints, and I was like, okay, so I made it so the chest closes up. Cool. But I wasn't like happy with my results. So I bought just a regular Victory 2. Again, that one. I bought that one and built it a third time, knowing I could close up the chest and stuff. Then I saw the Assault Buster with a titanium finish, and it looked so good. And like compared mine, which was like finished, but it didn't have all the water slides on it, and I don't like how in the anime it was all like a yellowish color, but the Gundam kit, it's like gold, and I'm like, I don't like the metallic gold. It looks ugly. I like the yellow. And then looking at the titanium finish kit, looked super cool, and I was like, all right, I don't like the Assault Buster, but now that I know how to build it, I'm gonna buy this kit just because I wanted to put the water slides on, and this one looks even better, and it's not the crappy gold. It's got yellow again, so I'll buy it. So I bought it again. And then somebody was talking, I was complaining about clear kits. I'm like, I don't like clear kits. They all look ugly. And somebody said the clear ones where they're just completely clear, with like an ABS frame, look awesome. And I was like, what do you mean? I've only seen like the clear ones where like if it's a blue part, it's see-through blue, or if it's white, it's see-through white. And it's like, it's just a clear, almost like a canopy piece. Like the whole thing is just see-through, and you can see the skeleton through it because it's that clean. And you can do like a top coat, or if you dip it all in like almost like a mop and glow type surface, it like makes the see-through like crystal clear. And I was like, oh, that looks sick too. And they made a handful of them, but I bought a Sinanju Verkad in clear, and I bought a V2 in clear. So despite me having built it 3 times, I still have 2 more in my closet. But I got a lot of experience building it, so I feel like now that I know how to make it so that it's nice and closed up. Actually, you know what? I can send you a link. It's super problematic. It's just not a good kit. So like the abdomen, like the ribs, I guess, are attached to the waist. The core fighter forms the middle, and the shoulders are the top part. So you have to put the core fighter in, and then the arms go on the top, and then the waist goes on the bottom. That's what reminds me of the real grade, because like it just falls apart. But I took a step by step, like how to put this together so it doesn't look horrible. And I put it all on Twitter because somebody was kind of asking me. They're like, how do you do this? And I was like, I'll show you. Okay, here we go. So this, all right. So here's part one. And here's part two. Those are just kind of like long threads about like how you put the thing together and why it's so difficult, and like how it's like 4 different parts that all have to like interlink and do some crazy lock stuff. But if you've built plenty of kits, you should be able to like get the gist of it just from those images. It's not something I recommend to newer builders if you want like something that looks like what's on the box. Like, yeah, I don't even Orc Itact. What up, man? Yeah, I like. So for a long time, when I first got into the hobby, I was just kind of like, I put a kit together. I never used any of the decals, any of the water slides. I was like, get out of here. I'm not doing that. I didn't panel line things. I built them up, and then I just put them in like a standing pose, and I put them next to each other on a shelf, and it looked like they were in like a museum of just like stiffly, awkwardly posed Gundam kits, and like it was just me. It was just my hobby, and like I'd look at other people's stuff, and they just looked so dynamic, and like detailed and like up detailed, and all this extra work that they did, and I'm like, how do I make my stuff look cool like their stuff? Because mine doesn't look cool. And that's kind of how I grew into figuring out like my style and like what I like, I guess. It's kind of like a pet peeve of mine where like you see people like not telling, but like they're like, this is how you do stuff, and I'm like, it's art. Like, you don't tell people this is how you draw a superhero. You just let them express themselves through their own art, you know? So when I see so many people like new to the hobby, or they're like, oh, I want to do this, I want to do that, any tips for beginners? And people will give the shittiest tips, because the tips will be like, you need to get this, you know, it's a $65 God hand, and you got to get all these tools, and you got to do all this, and follow this guy, do everything he does, because he's perfect at it. And I'm like, hold the fuck on. No, we're not doing any of that. You know what? You know what my tip for people getting into this hobby is? Put blinders on Don't look at what anybody does. Sit in your room, buy a kit, and put it together. Do it all yourself. Do whatever you want. And then look at it when you're done and be like, what am I happy with? What am I not happy? What do I want to do better? And then figure out what you want to do. And then figure out how to do it. And then go buy another kit and do it again. That was like I said, when I built the Victory, I didn't like how it looked because that had that chest gap. So I was like, all right, I got to figure out a way to close it. And I did. And I love it now that it looks good. Like, it's almost like information overload. You don't know what you don't know. You don't know what to ask. You don't know how to clean stuff up. When I first started, I didn't know how to clean up nub marks. I didn't know how to get rid of stress marks. I didn't know how to do any of that crap. So, like, I'd look at it and I'd go, I'm done with it, but these stress marks look really ugly. What do I do? Like, how do I make these stress marks go away? Because I knew that was what I wanted to do. And people online were like, here's some tutorials on how to, like, get rid of those stress marks. And I'm like, all right, cool. See, I wanted these gone. And here's some tutorials on how to do that. So then my next kit, I built, kind of like using the tools and the techniques. And I was like, wow, it really worked. Not that I didn't think it would, but, like, that's what I wanted to do with the hobby. It wasn't just like, oh, do it this way because that's the best, or whatever. And that's the advice I give people getting into this. Like, don't be afraid to not know what you're doing. Because every kit that you put together, you're going to learn a little bit more. And you're going to be like, now I know what I'm doing, and I still want to learn. Like, I build mostly out of the box. No, I say mostly, though, like 99% out of the box. I'm not into painting and customizing and all this other stuff. A lot of people are. And I'm not saying, like, don't do that. I mean, that's for them. And I think if they buy, like, 4 different kits and make a mashup of, like, the Death Scythe mashed up with, I don't know, Unicorn Gundam, and they make whatever. Awesome, if that's what you want to do. Or people come up with completely custom paint jobs, and they're like, I'm going to take the Unicorn Gundam and make it all red with a white inner frame, or something like that. Like, go for it. I don't like it. But it's your hobby. Who gives a shit what I like, And you learn what you like by just messing with it. Like putting a kit together and figuring out what you did like and didn't like. Which is why I bought multiple kits, because I put one together and I'm like, cool, I like this kit, and I put it together and I'm like, I don't like the way it came out. And then I figure out why I didn't like it and how I'm going to do it better. And then I buy the kit again and I do it better and I'm like, hell yeah, now it looks cool. This whole shelf is a revolving door of, like, my favorite kits that I've done. It's not all of them. That's probably a third of everything. Nah, not a third. Yeah, maybe half of everything that I've ever done. Because, like, I throw out kits that I don't like. One of those looks cool. I'm like, all right, throw it up on the shelf. It's shelf worthy. And then I learn, like, 10 different techniques. And now I look at what I thought was shelf worthy and I'm like, it doesn't look good anymore. Like, everything around it looks so much better. So to me, that means I'll take it off the shelf. And if I really like the kit, I'll buy it again. And I'll do it a second time better than the first time. But it just drives me nuts when you see people be like, this is the way to do it. You need to do this, and you need to cut it all out, and then you need to airbrush everything. Then you put it all together, and then you take it apart, and I'm like, shut up. Let people explore the hobby and figure out what they think is cool. Some people put the entire kit together. They cut out every single part. They put the entire thing together. And then they take it all apart and panel line it after. And I'm like, why? But I'm not going to tell them not to do that. I don't understand why. I do everything where, like, I cut out every single part. I clean up every single part. I dry fit everything. I put it all together as I'm building it up, and then I get like one segment done, and then I'm like, all right, this is enough of a build where I'm going to stop here because I do want to like water slide and or decal this, but I don't want like I don't want to be turning this whole thing trying to put this water slide on, wiping this one off and everything. So like I leave the legs, the arm, like I leave it apart, and then water slide everything, top coat everything, put it all together once, and I'm done. I think it's nuts to put poly caps together and then pull them apart and then put them together again, because if you've used poly caps, you know that they wear out, they break down. Why you would take a part that you know is going to break down and like touch it 3 times, put it together, take it apart, put it together, like 3 interactions, is nuts to me. But it works for some people. I've tried, like, when I was new to the hobby, I was always like, oh, you should try this or whatever. But I quickly realized, like, because somebody did that to me. They were like, you should, I don't even remember what it was. They were like, you should do this. And I'm like, why? That's, like, terrible advice. I would never do that. I wasn't that rude, but I was just like, why do you suggest that? And, like, the only thing they had to tell me was, like, well, that's how I do it. I'm like, so don't tell people to do it that way. Like, so I do have a lot of experience and a lot of ideas and stuff that I've done, but I would never tell people to do it that way. If they ask me how I do it, or if they would ask me, hey, this is something that I'm dealing with, do you have any recommendations for it? Then I would share, because I know, like, hey, they want to improve on that. So maybe I can give some of my experience, but it's weird when people are just like, do this like that, because that's what I do. Ultimately, I think like the best shit out there is like the hyper detailed anime accurate stuff. Like that's my white whale. If I could learn, like I don't want to paint stuff. I don't care that much about that. I want it to look like it does in the anime or the manga. I don't want to like deviate from that. But I like the hyper detailed stuff, like the people that get all the aftermarket metal parts, so they're like real pistons and metal, and like thrusters are made out of like actual stainless steel, and they take the chisels and the scribers and they like hyper detail all this stuff, and they go like two-tone everything, and some of it will be matte right next to gloss, and that stuff looks awesome to me. That's kind of my ultimate end goal, I guess. Like, But then other people make like custom builds like from day one. And they're wrong for not enjoying the hobby the way I like to enjoy it. Just kidding. All right, we're back at it. Yeah, we are not. This is wild how much and how little I've gotten done today. I was like, oh, what happens if we finish the arms today? I'm not even through the forearms, let alone the arms. So we will have, we'll probably have our finishing ceremony tomorrow. I mean, I'm not wrapping this up. I still got another 40 minutes or so to work on this, but I thought I'd be further along. Two. Even in this, like the games, like Gundam Breaker, the game where you're supposed to break all the Gundams apart and build whatever you want. I never liked doing that. I always just thought like I want to play as the Victory 2. I don't want to like use the arms from the Victory 2 and the head from the Easy 8. You know, it's just like, no, I'm good with that. Kind of. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the mixing and matching crap. I don't mean crap. I just it makes more sense to me one way. So it's like, yeah, all right, that's cool. I think the main reason I don't like, as far as the model kits go, is because the colors don't match. So it's like, oh, I got the legs from the Kyrios and the arms from the Dynamis and the backpack from the Double O, and it's like, okay, so you got neon yellow legs with bright green arms and dark green shoulder. Like, that looks horrible. You'd have to paint the whole thing. Like, I don't know. That's just... Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, I think that was kind of the thing with, like, Warhammer and stuff. Like, it was cool to see all the customized stuff that people would put together. But then I'd be like, so what are the rules? Because they can't be Thousand Suns because they look like ridiculous. You know, that's not what Thousand Suns look like, you know? I don't know. But it's whatever. I think I'm less like hard up on some stuff like Warhammer or whatever is about customizing stuff. Because, like, with the Codex, ultimately, at the end of the day, it's like, these are some armies, but you can make up your own. That's where it's more kind of like the pen and paper RPG, like, make up what you want type stuff. But with these, in my mind, this is just like a toy. This is like... It's supposed to look like the Gundam that it is. Like, you'd get a Beast Wars toy. You wouldn't be like, I bought Cheetor, and I bought Rhinox, and I bought Rat Trap, and I ripped the head off, so it's Cheetor's body, but it's got Rhinox's head, and then Rat Trap's like little wheels from when he was he had to have, yeah, he was like a hot rod or some shit. That was when they turned like, I don't know, I forget what they transformed enough, but like I wouldn't be like, yeah, I just made my own transformer by breaking other transformers apart, because it's like, well, no, Cheetor is a person, you can't just do that. But with Warhammer, it's kind of like, yeah, do whatever you want, make an army. And I think that kind of is like with the Horde army. It's like, no, it's like, why would I have Rend going into battle with like some undead units and then using Holy Nova to keep himself alive? What the hell is this? Alright, I have to run to the bathroom because energy drink and all that. I will be right back. Alright. Yeah, I hit, I don't know, level 33 or something. And it gave me like another hero unit. And I picked up Baron Ribbondale. So I had a bunch of units that were undead, but now I put together like an undead army. And you're right, holy crap. That just like takes the game apart. It's like too good. His ability to just like every 15 seconds spawn skeletons at every building that you own and just start sending shit down. So if you own 2 buildings, he puts 2 at each one. At least it seems like he does. So there's just like fodder going down every lane, and it's enough to tie up everything. Like, I think that's my problem with the game. Like, you need expendable stuff just to tie stuff up. And I was not using expendable stuff. I was using, like, set piece core stuff. I was like, no, I'm going to save up 10 energy and send the core hounds, followed by Drakaseth down 1 lane. And it would be all my gold for like 2 units. Well, I guess the core hounds are 3. And then like while they're tearing it up, he'll just like send Murlocs at me, and I'm like, oh, well, it takes 1 slow chop to kill a Murloc, so that's 6 slow chops to kill all these Murlocs. And while I'm standing there slowly chopping the Murlocs, they just die because like stuff kills them. And I'm like, I gotta get over the like big powerful unit stuff because it ain't working. So I tried Baron, and once I saw him just like flooding the lane with stuff, I was like, yeah, this can work, because he ties up so much garbage. Like even a lane nobody's coming down, he'll tie it up to the point where like even their little kobold can't mine because he's too busy fighting like fighting something like one of your stupid skeletons, so you can just be like, oh, it's like. So I made, of course, an undead army, but after having like the Blackrock army, where everything costs like 4 to 6. Now that the units cost like 2 to 4, I'm like, whoa, I can just crank stuff out. See, the AoEs, or I don't want to say AoE, like not AoE magic, but like the spam waves will wipe me out. Like if it was my 2 units versus their 2 units walking down a lane, I won every single time. When it was my 2 units versus their like 9 units, because even if the 9 units are just disposable garbage, they would just slow down my army to the point where they'd get killed by miscellany crap. That's what I couldn't do. So anyway, switching to Baron, I've got the ghouls, which are like 2 points, and then the pumpkin chucker guys, which are 2 points. And Baron only costs 4. I'm used to them costing like 6. So for like a full bar, I can send like all kinds of crap down a lane, and it's like a big tank, and then AoE splash, and all kinds of crap. And then when they send a big unit, I send the Banshee after it, and the Banshee just takes it. And then when there's like a mostly open lane, I send the Gargoyle, and he flies down the whole lane and just goes right to the boss, so I can like directly pressure the boss. I'm like, this tool set, despite me liking to play a certain way, this tool set works so much better, I think. And then you can switch them out. Like I've got the meat wagons when there's a lot of towers, and the what is this? Who was texting me? Oh wow. All right, so we got half hour. I am going to panel up these, and then we're going to put one more part in there, and then I think we should be done for today. We should be all, because I got what, half hour? Yeah, we got this. Do need a new Q-tip though. So one thing I kind of forgot, how do you like level up the heroes? Because I remember I got to the point where like Rend could pick a talent, and I made it so that like when he got hit, he dismounted from his Drake, so there were 2 of them. Is that like a level? Or is that like when they hit 3 stars or something? I forget how you do that. Because I don't know what Baron has for like talents. He's like level 9. I think he should at least have a talent point, right? And if any of you are wondering what the hell we're talking about, it's that Warcraft mobile game, like Warcraft Rumble or something. It's essentially a Warcraft version of what's that game called? The Clash of Clans, where it's like you just send your units down a lane and try and push the enemy. But it's Warcraft. I tried it. I didn't think it was that fun because I was playing it kind of goofy, and changed my playstyle. Had more fun with it. But my playstyle with that game is my playstyle with every other frickin' strategy game, where I just use like super expensive units to crush everybody rather than like waves of cheap units. An Architect usually does the waves of cheap units, so that's why they had more success than I did. Goddamn Imperial Guard, the GLA, the Zerg. Anything where you can spend $1 and get 1,000 shitty units. Oh god, this is so much panel lining. I've been doing this forever. I'm almost done. 5 more to go. This is 3 hours, and all we've done is, well, 6 arms, but still, half the arms. All right. The fun part is going to be having to decide between all 6 of these which 2 look the best, and then putting them on the front, and the 4 that I don't want to say look the worst, but I guess if we're considering the other ones the best, the opposite of the best is the worst, right? We'll have to take the 4 worst ones and put them around back. All right, 2. I couldn't imagine being a factory worker or like a line worker and just doing the same thing all day over and over and over. If I had to do this for a job, I think I'd go crazy. You're just gonna get the same arm part and you're just gonna panel line it the same way, and when you're done you throw it on the belt and it goes to the next station. I'd be like, no, I ain't doing that. I need some variety. Oops. All right. I can see the light at the end of the tunnel. We're halfway done with the second set of 3. $6X is probably the craziest amount of times I've ever had to build something. Oh, I forgot that one. Sharp edges. Ow. 3. At least we're going to close up these arms, because for now we have a pile of parts, and I don't want to like take a photograph of a pile of parts. So we got to get to a stopping part where like we can at least say, look, I got 6 arms, rather than like I got a bunch of parts which eventually will turn into 6 arms. That'll be my stopping point for the night. Yo. Oh, I totally forgot to do the front. I think I'm in a hurry to be like done. I don't know if this thing's like running out of ink or this plastic just isn't that great, but it's really not taking purchase. All right, 4. 2 more to go. Then the madness will come to an end. All right, what is this? What is this? Yeah, it's got to be running low on ink or something. Because I have to go over it like 3 or 4 times to get the same thickness of a line. I think I have another one of these. I've had this one for a while though. So it's probably about time that it gave out. peace. I'm feeling my sanity slowly restoring itself, knowing we've reached the end. Because this is 12 times I've had to panelize this part. 6 one way and then 6 mirrored. Whoever designed this to have 6 arms, I do not appreciate it. I mean, I do when it'll be all done and it'll look awesome on my shelf. In like a cool 6-arm yoga pose. What's that dude's name? The Overwatch guy with all the arms. The yoga guy. He had some weird name, like, weird pose where like all his arms were up in a big chakra looking sitting pose. That's kind of what we're going on for this. I did not play Overwatch very much. Wasn't really into it. But holy crap, so many of the characters' names like have left me. And that's one of them. That's it. We're done. Well, for now, we're done. Okay. What was that dude's name? Sharp edges. Fuck. Ow. It bothers me that I can't think of his name because I played him all the time. He was one of the few healers that I liked. The only name that keeps coming to mind is Genji, but I know who Genji is. I know it's not him, but I'm like, what the hell is his name? Whatever. The yoga healer guy with like the 6 arms. I don't know why I can't think of his name. Zenyatta? Is that it? That came to mind, but I guess I was thinking Zenyatta was a female, but then I couldn't place who. So I was like, no, that's not right, but okay, maybe it is. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, I didn't like that game very much. A lot of the characters they added after I started playing all sucked. I was just kind of like, these guys suck. Alright, we need Y5. Y5, and then we can start closing this shit up. And we need, what do you know, 6 of them. Because we need 6 of everything. These are like the wrists. I guess the hands snap into these things. So these go at the end of the forearms. See, if you didn't watch my stream today, you wouldn't have found out that wrists go at the end of forearms. You're welcome. You would be like, where are my wrists? Maybe your wrists are out in the yard with Ironhide. Maybe your wrist bones are at the bottom of the sea in Stranglethorn, and they shrunk after you died, because bones typically shrink after you die. This is not true, by the way. Bones do not shrink after you die. But some people think. Send us your bones. I must repeat, no squirrel bones. None. Sergeant Squirrel bones. Sergeant Squirrel and the Roof Nazi. And the Street Shark. And whatever other names they all got. I think I told you, I found like a patched version of that game that runs on like modern Windows, and it was a little clunky. I ran that and was like, wow, we played this whole thing, huh? All right, the moment of payoff. We can finally start putting this entire pile of shit. We did all this today and haven't built anything. It was clunky, but I think like... Oh yeah, that was horrible. I think like what drove me nuts was like more recently, not with that game, but like what drove me nuts was like other Ubisoft games where like they played 90% the same, but they weren't 100% the same. Like Far Cry 1, you could like look at people with your binoculars and it would like mark them on the map for like 3 seconds, and then when you looked away, they were gone again. And I'm like, well, what's the point? Look at the size of this goddamn arm. Holy cow. So there's one arm that we... Oh, and it does slide and lock. Okay. I was going to say, I thought it looked like... Okay, so they slide out and then it can bend. Got it. So in the bent pose, you know, here's where the shoulder is. Here's the upper arm. It bends down and then it kind of shrinks in a little bit to lock itself. So in the back, when they're attached to the back, it's just kind of like the arms. And then you pull them out, and then it allows it to bend. Okay. But for now, we're just going to go locked position. One is done. Put in a wrist. Because this is what it's sliding on. This little knocked off corner slides inside this. It comes down to lock and it goes up to allow it to bend, like so. So the fun did outweigh the clunk, but I guess it didn't seem as clunky at the time. But like the way stuff evolved since then, I look at it now and I'm just like, it's good that we played it when we did, because like I probably wouldn't want to play this now. Like if I just sat down and was like, here's a brand new game that plays like this, I'd be like, this game sucks. And it won't. But like when what was that? Operation Blackwater, whatever that thing was I was playing on Steam the other day. I was like, this would be cool if I hadn't played anything else. But I have played other things, so this game is not cool. I have thought about that, but I don't know if DOSBox will fix my issue. No, it does not. Weird, like shit that you kind of take for granted. You're just like, oh yeah, all games are like that, right? And it's like, no, not all games. You know what always drove me nuts about RTS games was how Command and Conquer and Warcraft used like backwards controls in the sense of like one of them you'd like left click to select and then right click to command. And then like I think Command and Conquer you don't. It's like everything is left click and then like right click is just like deselect. So I would like click here, let go, grab all these units, scroll over, right click on this guy, and then like deselect the guys that I just selected. And I'm like, come on. Just because it was like muscle memory from one game. I don't remember which one is which, but like the one where you right click just deselect stuff, I'm like, you're driving me nuts here. All right, the final arm. Your arms are good to eat. The actual quote is your hair is good to eat. And Architect is cheating because he knows that quote. So if anybody knows that quote, I'm not going to give you anything. I'll be impressed. All right. So I don't know how much is left. So we have to like lock the front of these on. Then we have to build up 4 elbows because 2 of them are already built and up there. So we got to put this part on, then the wrist plate. Oh god, then we have to do this 30 times. I would rather throw myself off my own roof than do that 30 times. But you know what? We're going to do it 30 times because that's what the instructions tell us to do. I've never seen this before, but in black right here it says, the kit is extremely heavy. Please be careful not to drop or break it when moving the kit. That's funny. And they even have parts here like holding the kit here may cause it to break. Do not hold this part while moving the kit. Because yeah, holy cow, if you pick that up, you would snap it and it would be like a very visible front part. So, if we thought building 6 of these it wasn't like tough, but it just took a lot of time. If I thought that was fun, building 30 finger guns is going to be even more fun. But that's tomorrow's fun. We're done tonight. But yeah, tomorrow we're going to put the wrist plate, the forearm plate. We're going to build 30 finger guns. We're going to put the finger guns into like a 5 cluster. We're going to put the hands on the wrists. We're going to put the little sheathing over the shoulder. 2 arms. I'll have to pick the best 2. That'll go on the unit like this. The other 4 will go in the back. Zenyatta style, where they're like all spread out, doing a fancy yoga pose. And then we'll be done. It's kind of a lot of work still. I mean, just because it's like a few bits left. It doesn't mean it's not a lot of work. But otherwise, we're coming to the end, and I'm pretty excited because this thing will be. I'll have to figure out. Here, let's switch over here. Go. I'll have to figure out which kits I want to take off the top. A lot of the kits up top are like flight kits on kind of like a action base with like a dynamic pose. So maybe some of those guys, some of the kits from the middle, I'm going to take down, get rid of. Some of the kits up top, I may kind of like make them less dynamic of a pose and put them down in the middle. And then we'll clear out the top and we will find a place to drop this ridiculous kit. Let's make sure to turn this just so we can fully appreciate how. Look at the size of that freaking. Wow. And this little guy rides inside the whole thing at the end of the day. So he'd just be chilling for now. And my dog be chilling. Oh, you can't see her. Right there. Anyway, I don't want to put him up here because I'll wake up in the middle of the night and I'll hear him fall and I'll be like, I wonder what that noise is. And then I'll look and tomorrow it'll just be like the destroyed Sinanju Stein. Anyway, oh, I hear it. It's 8 o'clock. The bell's ringing. There's like a church and a town hall over there, so I get to hear the frickin' bells ring all through the night. Thankfully, my actual bedroom's on the other side of my condo, so I don't hear it right in my window. But during the summer, holy cow, all you can hear is the bells ringing. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out, chatting, lurking, following, just watching along, watching me stumble through this enormous kit. And I think, so let's see, we did 3, 5, 3. So this is 18 and a half hours it took us to get to where we're at now, just on stream. I did a little bit off, so let's just say 19 hours to get to where we did. I'll go grab the boosters, 1 second. So these are the boosters. These are the legs. I can't possibly fit these under there. We'll figure something out. These are also part of it. This is an insane kit. I'm so happy I have it. I'm so happy that we put it together. It's going to be the freaking towering centerpiece up there. But we will finish it off tomorrow, and it's looking to be probably about 23 hours. Well, no, because then I got to water slide it. Probably 25 hours total of just sitting here building this kit. So that's a lot. That's like it's over a 24-hour day. 25 is higher than 24. You learn a lot on this stream. Anyway, thank you guys for hanging out. Thanks for watching. Thanks for following. And I will be back tomorrow, same time, 5:30 Eastern, and we will finish this off. So hopefully I'll see you then. Take care.